Good morning, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the conference so far, and you had a great night last night at the karaoke, and thanks, Tony, if you're here. Look, I'd just like to acknowledge that we're meeting in Wonnarua Country, acknowledge the people in this country, and also acknowledge that we are meeting within the Minda River, local Aboriginal Land Council boundaries. I'd also like to acknowledge the elders past and present, and also acknowledge our future generations coming through. Well, my name's Tina Williams. I'm from the beautiful, beautiful country of the North Coast. And I must admit that, yeah, Councillor Crombie, you said you're number one region, but I think our little land councils of 13 is far, far better. But we are the number one region. And I just want to make a big shout out to our North Coast delegates, and thank you for attending this great conference. Now that's me now done. I'd like to introduce the three deadly presenters here. To my left is Sharon Monahan from Bayugal Land Council. In the middle is Mr. Terry Robinson, the Mayor of Gugin-Gudduba Mullabugaba, and the beautiful Rowena Williams from Tweed Byron Land Council. I'd like to hand it over now to the three presenters.
Good morning, everybody. We'd like to acknowledge and thank the elders past and present, and Wonnarua Country and the Minda River Local Aboriginal Land Council for allowing us to gather and do business here on country today.
Yeah, hi. First I would like to thank our Councillor Tina Williams for your contribution and her hard work for us, and I've known Tina for Miss Williams for many, many moons when the region office was in Lismore, was operating at the time, and until now, and I know that she does a fantastic job for us there at Jana, and I'd also like to extend its thanks to the zone office there in Coffs Harbour, they do a fantastic job there at the zone office, and just like to say, look, I'll continue to put a lot of grey hairs on them head there at the zone, and thanks very much for that.
So the first one we're going to, do you want to do this here? Yep. Yeah, you do that first. Yeah.
So I told her.
Sorry, we're a bit nervous. Our region is made up of 13 local Aboriginal land councils. They are Bayugal, Birrigin-Gargle, Bogle, Casino, Grafton-Ngerrie, Gugin-Gudduba, Jarley, Jana-Narli, Jubulum, Mulli, Nullingar, Tweed Byron and Yagle. And we sit obviously in the beautiful North Coast region of New South Wales.
So my name's Sharon Monahan. I'm from the Bayugal Valk, and one of our major projects is the Bayugal Cemetery, and it was there's two parts to that, OEH and PM&C funding. The PM&C funding actually provided us with access to the cemetery because it goes through private property, and we had to have to get there and even now we've still got to get a key and get permission to go into the cemetery. So this access road will actually allow families and regular access without having to get permission. So that's been, and we actually, as part of that, we had to negotiate a access easement through the Myers family. That took us 5 years because that was basically back and forth through solicitors. So, and now we've got this, which is really good. And the OEH funding, which has been really significant, has been the GPR stuff where the drone goes around, and it actually mapped out the graves that are unmarked. And part of that was we found graves that go back through before the European settlement. So it's very significant that and we had the University of Queensland come down, and the whole community got involved in that, and we're now back approaching OEH for some more money to go back and do some more surveying around that. And as part of also the cemetery, we got some funds to do special naming Aboriginal place because it's not a recognised cemetery. So we had that, and the elders have chosen a language name. When we get the access to the road finished and the drainage and all the rest of it, we're going to have a special day of recognition because it's still very significant with our elders and everybody that's buried over there. And between Mulla and Bayugal, we've got the waste management program, and because we've got a dump out there that everyone in the Clarence River comes and dumps because there's no management of it. So we have a lot of people dumping waste material, which has become a bit of an issue. And you go out there on a weekend and it's totally like got even car parts, eh Terry? It's really bad. Yeah, so we're managing that now. And then as part of one of the other projects that we're doing with Mulla is we've got a lot of high school kids that travel into Grafton. It's 80 k's into Grafton. And even though we used to get up, crack of dawn and go on that dirt road, but kids are different these days. So we've recognised that these kids they're getting on the bus, but they're not actually attending high school. So we spoke to Sarah Mitchell about actually having high school kids coming to be at the primary school and actually undertake their high school certificates and that there, because otherwise we're going to have a whole cohort of kids that can barely, be at the level, so when they leave school, they can't do anything. So that's one of those projects, and we're actually looking at a language hub because we've only got a few elders left that speak fluently the Bundjalung language in Bayugal, and it's some people do it, but it's the pronunciations that Terry and I were talking about is significant to that particular pocket. So we're also looking at that as a joint sort of partnership with the community, because at the end of the day we're all related. Yeah. So, Ted, you next.
Charlie Land Council, which is in the Ballina-Wardell area. The Charlie Land Council officially declared the Ningya-Jargon Our Land Indigenous Protected Area IPA in 2013, and that work's obviously been ongoing since then. The IPA is a federally funded program to assist in the upkeep of the areas such as weed control, feral control, fencing and monitoring. The IPA lands are situated in a corridor west of Wardell, Cabbage Tree Island. The IPA will ensure the protection of culture, flora and fauna of over 1,000 hectares for now and future generations. This property has the largest pottery colony and 38 endangered or threatened species of flora and fauna. I also know Michael Smith, the CEO of the Land Council, does a lot of advocacy and works really hard in trying to affect change with the Byron Shire Council through various programs as well. So there's a lot of other work obviously that they do besides this project.
My name is Michael Smith and I'm the CEO of Jarlee Local Aboriginal Land Council. Jarlee's three key economic development areas are our quarry, honey and our cane and tea tree farms.
A year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, our community was, it was going nowhere, like there was nothing out there for the community, so all they used to do is, just drink around the community and there was no self-esteem or nothing, but since we've got these programs up and running, we create more employment for our workers, and now we're starting to, we put a bit of pride back in the community that they want to go out and work. Now we're looking for workers knocking on our door, looking for work, so we're trying to create more employment for our members, and then it creates a bit of pride between them, like within the community itself.
Jarlee applied for a land claim on the quarry site from Ballina Shire Council. We were successful in that claim. Where we're up to now is we've signed an agreement with Pacific Complete and the Roads and Maritime Services to extract 88,000 cubic metres of quarry spoil for the Pacific Complete Gugin-Gudduba bypass project. The NSWALC Economic Development Program provided Jarlee with the opportunity to further investigate other opportunities for Jarlee lands, and that has led to agribusiness, partnerships with honey producers and put us in a very good position to have an economically sustainable business model.
Our initial hope for the bees was to basically protect, preserve and promote the native bees on our 1,000 hectare block. The native bee honey not only is it good for eating, it's also good for medicinal purposes. You know, I've used it myself on my hand, just taken it straight out of the hive and put it on, and within a week it's all healed up.
Tioga apiaries are the market leader in medicinal honey on the north coast. We have a partnership with them to provide us packaged honey and specifically medicinal honey.
Well, yeah, I'd like to encourage, you know, the other communities, you know, to get on the country, look at their land, and then, you know, approach State Land Council and come up with a proposal or a plan and go for it.
We hope that the opportunities that the community can obtain from these initiatives is employment, reduced pressure on household income, and education.
I mean, this is our school here, you know, and with the support of State Land Council and, you know, other government agencies, you know, mobs can go down the path of opening their own enterprises, like what we've been trying to do for the last, you know, 8 years.
It's important for young people to come out here because this is where their culture is, and yeah, if you're out land, you learn more about your culture. You have to build up more knowledge and just want to stay out here. Yeah. Nice place, nice country. Makes me feel home.
The advice that I'd give to other land councils that are focused on economic development is to work with whatever partner you need to achieve your goals, and also have a plan of succession to take over the operations and stand alone in the future.
Yeah, Grafton-Ngerrie Lauk. Grafton-Ngerrie Lauk partnerships with Crown Lands and developing a statewide pilot project for camping management strategy. And the Grafton-Ngerrie Lauk will oversee the operation of 5 premium camping grounds in the Upper Clarence region. And they also what's that? I'll just leave that bit out. Sorry about that.
I'll add that in. They've just, I guess, been invited to participate in the Aboriginal land negotiation project. So they're new to that conversation and negotiation. They've also had a really long battle protecting culture and heritage just in relation to the upgrade of the Pacific Highway. And they've fought some really hard battles to protect some burial grounds there. They called on our North Coast Lauks to come in and support them, and they've been pretty successful in their fight. So that's coming to an end now.
Okay, so Terry's too nervous. So this is Muli Muli Lauk. It's around the community survey, worked with community on behaviour change activities to increase recycling, help with developing rubbish management plan, meeting contractors creating on clean-up, and working with local schools on Desert Pea media song productions. And there's community feedback on education materials. Oh, I've already done Bayigal Lauk, Eco Team. so Kyogle Lauk. So Kyogle Lauk's about Bush Tucker program. Now what's this? The Lauks are pursuing funding for our Bush Tucker program based on our property at Wonnarua. They're looking at seeking further funding from IBA for a further business plan and potentially a business loan. Nortec, who are a job service provider, also providing assistance to the LALC through training and eventually wage subsidies once the Bush Tucker program is in operation. With the assistance of Nortec, 7 community members have completed a Certificate 3 in horticulture and will be job ready once the business is established.
Nullingar Land Council, restoring biodiversity and cultural values around the Nimbin Rocks project. Nullingar Land Council is funded under an agreement with the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet to deliver the Nimbin Rocks Working on Country project from March 2009 and still continuing today. The project employs a team of 11 rangers and 1 coordinator and nursery supervisor and aims to restore biodiversity and cultural values in the Nimbin Rocks Aboriginal site. Nullingar Land Council obviously also is involved in quite a number of other projects, including an after-schools project for kids that I guess are not within the schooling system. So they support kids through that sort of project, and they have some really strong local mentors that come in and help the kids, and that, from my understanding, that project's going really successfully.
Jubbalam Lauk Tabulam. Jubbalam village is the last discrete Aboriginal community in the northeastern New South Wales. Hosted the first all Aboriginal Green Army team in New South Wales, Two River and section of the Rocky River. Supported the first group of Aboriginal people to receive farm planning training from New South Wales Local Land Service, Northern Tablelands. Culture fire burning workshop on Lauk lands for over 200 invitees, funded by the Northern Table Local Land Service, and there was a successful grant from New South Wales EPA for Aboriginal community waste management programs. And with Jubbalam, I visit Rio on a regular basis, going to work the Tabulam Bridge there, and there is a lot of other fantastic programs that they do there at Tabulam to accommodate the big community like Rio there. And you know, I've also used to live there in Tabulam, and I see a lot of changes that's happening out at Rio now, and it's through the current board that they got there and the new CEO and just working together there at Rio, and it changed a whole lot of things there now, and just like to acknowledge the hard work that they're doing there up at Rio too as well, and continue to do what they're doing.
Gugin-Gudduba Land Council. The Gugin-Gudduba Lauk has recently submitted and approved a land dealing application to the New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council, which will result in the submission of a development application for a multi-lot residential subdivision and then sale of the subdivision lots at Hickey Street, Iluka. This has been a 19-year battle and will conclude next month, and the community is really, really excited about the opportunities that are going to come for them out of this project. The project is a joint venture with the Stevens Group and Gugin-Gudduba Lauk. There's a training and employment program, and it'll be run in stages where local Aboriginal people from the community will be engaged during each separate stage throughout the project. They've also got some land management team projects happening around rehabilitation of the Land Council area, and they're working quite heavily with job networks to train and employ their youth.
Which one's next? So, Bogle Land Council at Corokai? Where? No. I don't know where. Yeah, there you go.
I think this is the #1 Lauk in New South Wales. This one here. It's very small. It's very small out in the middle of nowhere, Jang. It's the #1 Lauk, Jang. This community, Jang. It's like we've been put out there and left and battled on our own canoe. You know, that's me. That's this community here. It's a community that praise the Lord. I say to I'll say to I'll say to a lot about local MPs and a lot of things like, you know, it's we've been put out there and left there, and I don't know, things might change over the over the years, but you know, we've come a hell of a long way since we changed from transferred the houses from, I think, Faxia, from Faxia and now to the Land Council, and I know that since we changed from the corporation to where we are now, we're in a better position. Thank the Lord for that. It took mainly more of my family, especially in a small community where you got a lot of families, but it took my family to do the change and to go where we was going for a better direction for our community and for my children, and for my grandchildren, and to this day, we're not looking back. I always say at a board meeting, every time I go to a board meeting and always get thrown out, I always say, well, just don't look back. We always look forward. And this, as I said, this is a fine example of a community where you get services in one town 70, and in this poor town this poor community you get none. And I'm like, I went through so many hair dye. How many time I got left? Yeah, 2 minutes. Yeah, but look, through all that, we've achieved a hell of a lot there in Mullabugulmarjang, and Mullabugulmar stand means to do the right thing, and to this day I try to do the right thing every day of the week since I'm still alive, and it's hard dealing with government and local, members who don't even. I've been there 30 years in Mulla, that long, and not one MP been to Mulla. 2 minutes, right now. Am I finished? Oh, I gotta go. Oh, 2 minutes.
No, 2 minutes to do the others.
Oh, all right. I'll leave it at that.
All right. Oh, goodness. All right. So, yeah, he still thought he had 2 minutes to do Mulla. But Bogle out, Korakai. The Bogle Land Council is committed to acquiring and maintaining our land resources as to preserve, protect and promote Indigenous culture and values in order to gain effective social economic outcomes and independence. And the Bogle Lauk has been operating to improve the lifestyle of the local Aboriginal people by providing education and training, opportunities for employment with community and the wider corporate sector, improving their health and wellbeing, affordable housing, and as Terry said, housing, preservation of culture and awareness thereof. Okay. Okay. Casino Bogle Land Council. Casino Bogle Land Council operates a specialist homelessness service funded by FACTS. This program supports Aboriginal families, young people, elders, single people and also non-Aboriginal families, which we refer to services, who have Aboriginal children. The program works closely with housing providers, victim services and other relevant services. This program has been funded and running for 3 years and is funded until 2019.
Yaegel Land Council. The major highlight for Yaegel Land Council over the past 10 years was the repatriation program. This was something that affected the whole Yaegel community as we laid our ancestors to their final resting place at the Yaegel Reserve. Our ancestors were taken from Australia to Germany and Vienna and was collected by our local elder, Lenore Parker, and community member, Michael Randall, to bring them home and be stored at the Australian Museum before they were collected and returned to country for burial. Yaegel Lauk is also waiting on an approval regarding the SAHF program, the Social and Affordable Housing Program, and it's a partnership with NSWALC and Lendlease. And to my understanding, they're the first in New South Wales to go into that project. Tweed-Byron. I'll just go through a few dot points here. Tweed-Byron Land Council, of which I'm the CEO, we've just celebrated 20 years in partnership with the Tweed Shire Council, our Aboriginal Advisory Committee. Through that Aboriginal Advisory Committee, We've created and adopted, our council's just adopted our Aboriginal Cultural Heritage Management Plan. To my understanding, it's the first in the state, and it brings, what it does is it brings culture and heritage to the beginning of the development process, where our guys now, through our Tweed Borough and Land Council, have to be contacted in regards to development applications. They have to pay us to do that for our services. So rather than us being at the end of the process of development, we're brought to the beginning. And this is something that our old people kept demanding of council and state government for many, many years. Last week, that Aboriginal Cultural Heritage Management Plan won an award at the New South Wales Planning Institute. So we're very proud of that achievement. That was actually 30 years in the making, that plan. We're hoping that that is something that other land councils, if they choose to, have a look at. It's a model that can be applied anywhere across the state. Another one of our projects that we're looking at doing, we're actually in the planning stages of creating an international cultural exchange project with China and a number of other Asian countries, and that's in relation to saving critically endangered bird species from extinction. That extinction will happen in 30 years if we don't get in and do something immediately. We as the Land Council are taking the lead role in this because those bird species come and roost on our land claim area down along the Fingal Peninsula, and it's actually an area that's heavily there's a lot of birds that come and nest there that are critically endangered. So we're playing a major role in that. And something that we wanted to point out was that besides land claims and housing, you know, we're not one-trick ponies. You know, we're very, very multi-layered, and the outcomes that we achieve are not just for our members, they're for the wider Aboriginal community, and they're for the wider general public too. And this is one of those projects that speaks to that, and that's something that we want the ministers and the likes to, you know, take notice of. I apologise to our local land councils. We haven't done them justice in this presentation. There's so much more work that they do in the North Coast. They are some of the strongest advocates for our North Coast region. I'm getting told to wrap it up, but there's an important point that I just need to make. I would like to ask our North Coast delegates if they could quickly stand. Stand up. I just want to, I think we need to honour you all, our North Coast delegates, please. I won't be much longer, I promise. It's important that we honour them and those who couldn't be here today, not only today, but every day for the incredible work they do. This Land Council thing is a powerhouse gig, and these fellas are some of our North Coast Land Council and community power brokers, and we are taught this and many other critical skills needed to perform these roles by our old fellas. When we were raised in the land rights movement network back in the 80s and 90s, whilst we didn't know exactly what was going on at the time, we knew we were in the presence of greatness with our old fellas, and that they were creating greatness for our local North Coast Gorrie community and effectively the Land Rights Network. So we thank you all North Coast Land Councils and collectively all our land councils that are in the room today.